The word emerge means to pour yourself into something completely, mix in with, and I want you to be the first to know that I'm pouring myself into a very specific group of people. But first, an update on the Getzes. Since moving to New York City in 2007, I've been accused of having an unrealistic optimism about the future of the North American church and the likelihood of seeing gospel movements on this continent in this decade. But my optimism rises from a recurring experience that I've had in various ministry contexts, especially among young leaders in immigrant communities in the cities of the East Coast. I've met with, I've walked with, worked with, prayed with many of these young emerging leaders whose families have loved their new neighborhoods since the day they moved to this country. And many of these young leaders demonstrate a disciple-making passion beyond their years. They crave mentoring, they crave coaching beyond their resources, and they are already a spiritual force to be reckoned with as they emerge in cultural influence. In 2007, my family moved to New York City to catalyze missional families and church planting through what we called New York is Calling, and then a year later, iServe was born, providing a way for college ministries and church youth groups to experience urban mission and cross-cultural ministry. Hundreds of people were impacted, including some whom God called through iServe to the city to live for its good. But then after 14 years of living for the good of the city here, for family reasons, Christina and I moved from New York City last fall. But one part of our calling remains, and we still have a heart for so many who serve the cities in the Acela corridor from DC to Boston, Philadelphia, New York City. So my focus, I want you to be among the first people to know, my focus will be now on a very specific group of leaders whom we've come to know and love as we served since 2007. These leaders are young, they are already making a difference among their peers, as well as among their immigrant communities. They're making disciples, they're passionate about the gospel, but they're under-resourced and they're often overlooked or unnoticed by the broader church. So that's why we're starting the Immerge Network. IMMERGE is a network of emerging leaders, emerging as in young, up-and-coming leaders who are being mentored, coached, equipped as they pursue their life and ministry callings in non-traditional ministry contexts, especially among immigrant communities. So here's how it works. Our team at Immerge will work with each emerger for the first 3 months. We'll get to know them, we'll clarify their callings, and we will help them design a life impact plan which will help us know how to best coach them and help them fulfill their calling effectively. We'll also provide them peer communities where they can connect with each other and encourage each other and celebrate their progress. We will set up a mentor for them, for those whose mission would be helped by advanced training or expert coaching. We'll provide that, including underwriting through donations from people like you who see the difference that we can make by pouring ourselves into their lives. Last night I met with 2 emergers who are clarifying their callings, and I asked them to, in one sentence, tell me what you understand is your calling. And there were 2 very different answers, 2 very different mission fields, 2 very different kinds of people that they want to help. And in fact, there's 2 different paths that they will need to take to equip them, to fulfill those 2 very different callings. What Immerge Network will do is we will connect them with the right mentors, those who understand their missions, coaches who are expert in their work, and training will be brought to them in accessible and relevant ways. The cost to them for all of this is that they simply pour themselves into the people to whom they're being called. Immerge Network will take care of the rest, because there's people like you who will be praying and giving and pouring yourselves into them as well. So I want you to check out our website at immergenetwork.org and this email, this video is really for one purpose. I need your permission to send updates, to bother you by sending you emails so you know how to pray and you know how to give. So take a moment and click on whichever applies to you below.